Hey guys, so if you didn't know, at E3 they were handing out snow globes, and wrapped around the snow globe was a faux newspaper that they had printed based off of the events in The Division. And I got one of these, and it's really kind of cool to look at it and read all the different information and things that are on it. So I thought that I would take a little bit of time to read and tell you what is in this newspaper if you didn't get to see it for yourself. I will also post a link to the actual picture in this video so you can read it for yourself, but I just thought I would pick it apart and give you the more interesting bits on it. So to start this off, this paper is based off of December 5th, 2015. So it's right after Black Friday, which is really interesting too, because I've heard a lot of rumors that this game was based like 25 years into the future. So if this is true and this is when the game actually happens, then it's not in the future, it's this year. So that was the first thing that really hit me that was interesting. It goes on to say that the city has been literally plagued for days, and now an estimated 48% of the population is affected by the virus, with the death toll rising at an alarming rate. A government memo purportedly from CIRA, which is Catastrophic Emergency Response Agency, identifies that newly printed $100 bills have been found with traces of the virus on them. So we've heard the videos and the descriptions of this story that, you know, it's a biological terrorist attack. So the newspaper just kind of starts building on what we already know. So it's basically taking place right after it's happened. Go back to this. The memo theorizes that the bills were intentionally contaminated and then put back into circulation on Black Friday as part of the largest biological attack in history. So again, it's just going back to what they said that this game is basically based on. And as of the published date of the paper, no group or individual has come forward to claim responsibility for this attack. So that leaves it up to us to go in and find out who did this and why did they do it. The interesting thing about the memo is the fact that CIRA denies its validity, calling it a complete fabrication. But preparedness experts have deemed its provenance very convincing. It also goes on to mention an interview where they explained how this was more than likely a coordinated attack because of how quickly and how thoroughly the virus spread throughout the city, because a pathogen with such a high mortality rate would have burned itself out before infecting such a large population. The paper has also been unable to confirm the origination of the document, but a forensic expert has stated that it hasn't been altered electronically. It was handwritten and then scanned into a PDF format. And in the bottom left article, it talks about an army colonel who was recalled from a tour in Afghanistan to direct the disaster relief in the city. It also talks about the president ordering U.S. Army resources to aid in containing the virus. In a press conference with the colonel, he stated that they are trying to maintain order within the city and prevent any kind of downward spiral of looting, chaos, and fear, basically stating that the city is not going to fall on his watch. It then goes on to mention that the U.S. Army is going to set up a base of operations along the East River near the Queens Midtown Tunnel. So be sure to look out for this in the game, because you can be sure there will be some good gear at an army base. And in the press conference, the colonel was also asked about the imposition of martial law, but he didn't respond. In a separate statement though, he said that all options were on the table. And if you look in the gameplay videos that we've seen, you will see a street sign that says martial law is in effect. So apparently they did enact it. The next paragraph gives us a glimpse into what could be part of the storyline when it talks about how the majority of the United Nations was evacuated before the quarantine, which raised questions about the lockdown and if it was anticipated by the city. It sounds like the government selectively chose who stayed and who got out. So there's already a conspiracy brewing just in this paper. Let's go over the final paragraph. That's on the right side of the paper. According to what was said here, the city was put on full lockdown the day before the paper was published, which would have been December 3rd, 2015. No one was allowed in or out of the city without explicit permission from the city authorities. Apparently, a third of the population is still left in the city, so there's going to be a lot of people to interact with inside the city when the game launches. How those interactions will go down, though, are still a mystery. More than likely, they will be vendors and quest holders, and also some people will be wandering the city as normal civilians, which we saw in the 2013 gameplay demo. But also, let's not forget about all the factions. There are guaranteed hostile factions with the Rikers and the Cleaners, but there could be friendly ones too. Only time will tell though what we'll see in the game. It also says that the city officials are denying any breakdown of law and order, but that's obviously a lie. So, this paper was printed right at the brink of chaos, possibly the starting of the game. Maybe we're going to get a cutscene or a gameplay segment that will explain the rest of this. That's what my guess would be. There isn't really anything more worth mentioning in the newspaper. I've looked over it, scanned it, done everything you can possibly imagine to it. I haven't noticed any codes, any secret messages, any secret pictures, anything really that significant in it. I'm going to keep looking, and if I do find anything out, I will let everybody know. But with that, I'm going to bring this video to an end. Hopefully you found this somewhat interesting. I just thought I would like to bring it to everyone's attention and tell you a few of the interesting facts that I found in the paper. If you want to check it out, remember I'm going to leave a link to the picture in the description box below. And until next time, this has been Boomslangg, and I'm out.